Look, this is outside of my normal content, and it's more of I don't know, an ethics discussion, but it's still related to tech. Your data. Essentially, online, what we're doing is we are putting a version of ourselves out there. It truly is your personality and your Google search data, what you put on social media, all of the different services that you use and how you use them. That builds a profile about who you are, and, well, really, it's you. There's this concept about having relationships with people wherein you're a different version of yourself to every person that you know because they know you as the way that you have presented yourself in that moment or through a history of being together. Like, for example, to my eldest brother, I'm always going to be the idiot child. But to my nephew, I will likely always be the nerdy uncle who taught them how to fix computers. To Google, to Facebook, to TikTok, to whatever platform that you're using, whatever tool that you're using that builds a profile about you based off of the data that you feed it, you're a specific version of yourself too. So, in a way, you have a relationship with these companies, with this entity like TikTok. But unlike the type of relationship that you have with, say, your neighbor, your friend, your pastor, TikTok monetizes your data. They monetize you. How much of yourself are you giving away? And is there any value in the version of yourself that you're giving away to these companies? And I'm not just talking about the social media companies. I'm also talking about like Google or Microsoft or Apple. Over the last 4 years, I have made a drastic change in how I handle my data. I've essentially moved everything off of the big companies that harvest my data. Started running Linux instead of running Windows because Windows was using their platform to advertise me. I pulled off a website that I was using where I paid a subscription to have that website so that I could self-host instead, so that I could own all of my data. For the social media companies, I containerized all of their applications so that they can't talk to one another to build a profile of me based off of other platforms. And see, the thing is that I'm not entirely sure why I did that. I don't really care that any social media company is making money off of me. That's the version that I'm giving myself away to them for free. Doesn't really bother me. I don't really care if people advertise to me. But something feels wrong about these entities using my data, using the version of myself that I'm giving away to make money off of me. And furthermore, to manipulate me. Not saying that they are doing so on purpose, but the way that content gets driven by its nature, you are being manipulated whenever you are feeding your data into an algorithm that is going to show you certain content. And because of that, there is an ethical concern for the people who are using this data. It's if it's right that they are the ones who are deciding what you get to see and how you should view it. And to a certain extent, on all of these different platforms, you do have a way to change what you see. But ultimately, they are still in control of everything. Like, just to give an example, I stopped using alcohol completely. And on Reddit, they were still feeding me advertisements for alcohol. I contacted them to complain because there was no way for me to turn off those advertisements for that specific type of product. On Facebook, and through Google as well, you have the option to disable certain types of advertisements or a certain advertiser. And similarly, you have the option to completely block a user or to mute a friend for 30 days or something along those lines so that you don't see their content. But Facebook, TikTok, they will still feed you certain content because it drives engagement on their platform. Because behind the scenes, their ultimate driver is that they have to make money. And Google has that exact same incentive, and that's why they give out free Gmail accounts. And Gmail is awesome. It works great. But they go through all of your words that you write in those emails, and they use that to build a profile off of you. Now, your Google Workspace account, that's different. They have a contract in place wherein they don't harvest your data for the purposes of advertising. You still got to read the fine print. So you have relationships with each of these entities, and they build a profile based off of you, and they're feeding you data based off of that profile that they have ascertained about you. In a way, they are manipulating you by feeding you the content that they want to feed you so that it drives your engagement so that you continue to engage with the platform, whether that be Google's advertising platform or Facebook or TikTok. Now, there's another concept in relationships where this version of the person that you know, that friend that you have, you're also influencing them, and you're changing that version of that person by the way that you interact with them. And the same thing happens with these companies that we're interacting with. The content that you're being fed, it shapes who you are, like it does change you. We've heard the stories of people falling down the right-wing rabbit hole. Or on the flip side, the, left-wing rabbit hole too. I've met both sides of crazy. Mastodon and the Fediverse. Mastodon is a different type of social media. There is no private equity, there's no monetization, there's no advertising. It's literally just a collective of individual servers that create a connection between people through all of these different federated servers. Defederated, my bad. And ultimately what that means is that there is no one entity in control of this thing. It's literally the public square as it's meant to be, except there's no laws. There's no rules of engagement. There's also no algorithm. If you ever jump on Mastodon, know that your feed, it's going to be dead. Like, you have to actively go out and follow hashtags and follow people in order to build the type of content that you see. You truly are in control. The same way that I am in full control of my email server, which is sitting right up here. There is no outside entity that has any control over what I see in my emails. And it's not being used to build a profile about me so that another entity can use that data. Andrew Yang was the only politician that I know of who brought up legitimate concerns about your ownership of your data with these large companies. He's the only politician that came out with a concept that you, a person, should be able to gather some of the monetary value that these companies are making off of you with the version of yourself that you're giving away to these companies. What are the ethics of selling a person? What are the ethics of monetizing a version of a person that are giving away to you for free? Like, how do you handle this? How do we navigate this new and emerging landscape? Now, if you finish watching this and you're going, well, what the hell is he talking about? He's rambling. That's why that word's right up there. You probably shouldn't have watched this whole thing. You learned nothing. I gave no answers. But I bet now y'all have a whole lot more questions.